Everyone, this is Satyaprakash. Welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I will describe how to create and configure organization in GitHub. This is the part 25 of Git and GitHub tutorial. So I will suggest you before going through this video, please visit my part 24 of my Git and GitHub tutorial, that is know about Git default branch in GitHub. So you can get this video in my playlist called Git and GitHub tutorial. Alright, so what we will describe in this part 25 is know about organization. Why do you require an organization? Create an organization in GitHub, configure organization in GitHub, and a detailed overview of the organization in GitHub. So know about GitHub organization, that is, as we discussed earlier, that is GitHub is a popular version control system. These days many organizations use GitHub. So GitHub is a platform where you can upload your code. It allows you to collaborate with other users of the project. So it is a centralized location to share the code. It has a beautiful GUI, that is the graphical user interface, with a lot of features like PR or pull requests, projects and issues, etc. So here you can review the changes of your projects. So for using in organization, we need GitHub hosted services, or you can deploy GitHub in local data centers or any cloud provider, for example Microsoft Azure. So if you work in an organization first time, then you need to sign in using your organization mail ID or your client ID. For example, if you work on any company called ABC, then the email ID should be name@abc.com, or if your client is called XYZ, then you'll sign in to the organization of GitHub using your client ID, that is name@xyz.com. Alright, so why we need an organization in GitHub? So basically we can manage multiple projects with many teams and organizations. So for example, an organization may have .NET projects, Java projects, PHP projects, and open source projects, database projects. So you can create multiple projects in one organization and distribute them with multiple teams. Alright, so steps to create how to create an organization. There are many steps. So step 1 is, so before that I need 2 accounts. So I created one account called Mohan.cs GitHub, and the mail ID associated with this Mohan.cs GitHub is this one. And same way I have created another GitHub account, that is the Satya.cs GitHub, and for that this mail ID is associated with this Satya.cs GitHub account. So I need 2 accounts for that organization related things. So now I can show you what are the steps to create an organization. So step 1 is I'll use this Mohan.cs GitHub as a organization owner. So what I'll do here, step 1 is go to settings. So you can see that here is settings here, and step 2 is go to organizations. You can see here is organizations here. So if you select this, and here you can see that turn Mohan.cs GitHub into an organizations, or it is showing that you are not a member of any organizations here. Alright, so what I'll do here, I'll just click on that. I'll just click on that the new organization link here, right here. If you'll get any other interface like pick a plan for your organization, for example join for free, or contribution with team, or start enterprise trial. So join for free, that is the $0, it is completely free, but some features are not available. And for team, that is $4 per user per month, and there is some features there as comparable to free edition. And for enterprise, this is the $21 per user per month. and there are many features as comparable to free and team and the team edition, the enterprise edition, the last edition with all the features. So what we will do, step 4 is I just click here the new organizations. Alright, so it will show us the all this I already have described, that is the 3 types: free version, teams and enterprise version. So for free it is the $0, for team, continue with the team, then the $4 per user per month, and for to start enterprise trial, that is the $21 per user per month. Alright, but as of now I want this free version, so I just click here. Alright, now it will go to set up our organization. This is the step 5. So what I'll type here, the name of our organization. So here I'll type here as Mohan ORG and the global. It is the organization name. Alright, so what I'll do, I'll just type here my mail ID. So the same mail ID which one is associated with the Mohan CS GitHub account. So I have added this mail ID. This mail ID is associated with this as Mohan CS GitHub account, right? And after then what I'll do, this is asking about this organization belong to which, for personal account or for business or any institutions. So as of now I'll select here as my personal account. Now it is for asking verify some puzzles to solve the puzzle. So I just click here the spiral galaxy. Now it's okay. Now click next. So here, see, it is the very important part here. Now my organization is created. So it is showing welcome to Mohan ORG Global. That is the organization name under Mohan CS GitHub account. So organized members will be able to view your repositories, organize into teams, review the code and tag other members using @mentions, right? So what I'll do here, I will add the another GitHub account member. So I already have told you that another account is Satya CS GitHub. I want this GitHub account member to the organization here. So what I'll do, I'll just click Satya CS and GitHub. You can see that if I type the Satya CS GitHub account name, it is showing that Satya CS GitHub and its GitHub account name with the name of that profile, that the Satyaprakash Samantrai. So I'll just click here. That is the, you can see here same profile, it is available here, right? So I just click here and complete the setup. So this is the part 6, that is the I added organization members as a Satya CS GitHub to the organizations, and I complete the setup here, right? So after complete the setup, the step 5 is fill up the survey, and survey 1 for new organizations as shown here. So here you can see that what do you spend time on most of the day. So as of now I'll select here as writing code and planning projects. If you want, you can select here as managing and coordinating engineering work or building administrations, and if you want any others, you can select here others. So we are working as client project. I can mention here we are working for client project. Alright, so it is done. Then step 9 is fill up the survey 2 of new organizations. That is, how many people do you expect to actively work within these GitHub organizations. So as of now I selected here as 1 to 5. If you want 6 to 15 or 25 plus as per your requirements. So as per my requirement I have selected here as 1 to 5 members. Alright, so after then it is asking what type of work do you plan to use this organization for. So I want for personal projects and work projects. If you want open source projects you can select. If you want education projects you can select here, but for my requirement I selected here as personal projects and work projects. Alright, so others I have mentioned here as for personal company work. So for personal and company work, in others I have typed. So step 10 here is fill up the survey 3 for new organizations as shown here. So what do you expect to do on GitHub in next 7 days? So next 7 days, if you want all these things you can select, but for my requirement I select as manage code and collaborate on code and plan and track work. If you want set up CI/CD tool or improve security you can select here, but as of my requirements I select here as manage code, collaborate on code, plan and track work. Alright, so here for other what I type here is for code sharing and manage. For code sharing and manage I type in the other section here. Alright, so step 11 is fill up survey 4 for new organization is do you have an existing repository for your project? No, I don't have any existing repository, or I have already existing repository in that Mohn/CS GitHub if you want, but as of my project I have no existing repository here, so I select here as no. Alright, and submit here. If you want you can select here yes, but for me it is not here, so I select here no and click on submit. Alright, then we'll go to step 11. So you can see that all the inputs you have put during creation of organizations and all surveys, so your organization is created successfully, that the Mohn org global, and Mohn org global doesn't have any pinned public repository yet. So here is the organization has no repository. Alright, if you want you can select here, and in the people invite section the name of your Mohn/CS GitHub is here, it is showing. And what I'll do here, step 13 is I'll go to my Git, I'll select here, so check GitHub new organization, so I'll select here and your organizations if you select. So you can see that the Mohn/CS Mohn org global as a owner of that organizations here. Alright, and if you want to transform an account into an organization you can do that, but it is not active because you cannot transform this account into an organization until you leave all organization that you are member of, so that it will active that button that is turn Mohn/CS GitHub into an organizations. If you want to leave you can click here. If you want to setting some changes you can setting here. Alright, so step 14 is send and mail invitation to join GitHub organizations. So during creation of organizations, when Mohn org global we added one organization member as Satya/CS GitHub. Alright, so you remember this member I have added during creation of an organizations as a member. So you will get an mail invitations to join GitHub. So I'll go to here, go to my inbox. So here you can see that Satya/CS GitHub has got one invitation mail, right? Like this, because Mohan says GitHub has invited you to join the Mohan ORG global organizations. So hi Satyaprakash Samantrai, Mohan says GitHub has invited to join the Mohan ORG global organizations on GitHub. So check out that. So it is one Mohan ORG global the organization link is available here. So this invitation will expire in 7 days, so as soon as possible you need to join this one. Alright, so I just select here, so you just click here, join Mohan ORG global. So it is asking you have been invited to the Mohan ORG global organizations. So this is the step 15. The invited user will join GitHub organizations here. So Satya says GitHub wants to join Mohan ORG global organization, which one created by Mohan says GitHub. So I just click here, join Mohan ORG global. Alright, so step 15 is after joining GitHub organizations, the interface will be shown like this with login of Satya CS GitHub account. So it is showing that you are now a member of Mohan ORG global. So now you can see that people is showing two. One is Satya CS GitHub, one is Mohan CS GitHub. Alright, two members it is showing under Mohan ORG global organizations. So you are member of that group now, that organization, that is Mohan ORG global. Alright, so same way step 17 is check the join GitHub organization here. So what I'll do, I just click here and select here organizations under Satya CS GitHub account. Okay, now we can see here that one that is Mohan ORG global member it is showing, right? So this member Satya CS GitHub is a member of an organization which one created by Mohan says GitHub, that is Mohan ORG global. If you want to leave, you can click here. So one member can be a part of many organizations, like here it is showing this member is part of Mohan ORG global organizations and Satya ORG global organizations. So as of now, as in this video I described, this member is an active member of Mohan ORG global organizations created by Mohan CS GitHub. Alright, so if you want to leave, you can click here the leave button, and this is the organization name, that is Mohan ORG global. So step 18 is, so check the number of members of GitHub organization after login of GitHub organization owner. So I'll go to the Mohan CS GitHub account. So here this is the Mohan CS GitHub account page. So what I'll do, I'll just click here Mohan ORG global, and here I'll check the number of people. Now it was showing 1 only, right? So after join the organization by Satya CS GitHub, it is showing 2 people including owner and a member. So here I'll check the number of members of GitHub organizations under the login of Mohan CS GitHub account. So here in people, if you click here in the tab, so it is showing that number of members after login organization account, that is the Mohan CS GitHub and Satya CS GitHub. And the private owner 0 teams, and some options is showing private member 0 teams for both the members. Alright, so here Mohan CS GitHub is the owner of GitHub organizations, and Satyaprakash Samantrai, Satya CS GitHub, is the invited member of GitHub organizations. So Mohan ORG global is the name of GitHub organizations here. Okay, now step 19 is to configure the GitHub organization using settings. So I just click here settings. Alright, so if you want to setting, you just click here like this. I'll show you again. So this is the organization URL, that is github.com and Mohan ORG global, and there is many options: overview, repositories, and packages, and people. How many peoples are there? There is 2 peoples. And team, there is no teams created till now in this organizations, and there is no projects as of now. And if you want to settings and configure for the GitHub organization, just click here settings. Alright, so step 20 is mention the input and update the profile in this step 20 after click on the settings. Alright, so here what I'll do, this is the organization profile picture. If you want to click any profile picture, you can click. So I want to click one profile new pictures here. So I'll go to my page, or I want to search any images are there or not. Alright, there is no images. I need to. Alright, so what I'll do here, okay, as of now I put it as default. So I just want to click here the search in the Google, that is profile image. Alright, anything randomly you can select here, and I just click here as this one, or any random things. I'll go to images. Okay, now I'll select here as this profile, or this profile. I'll select here as the organizations. So I'll select here organization here, and in the Google, and I'll just download one thing here from there. So organization, this one will be suitable for our organization profile image. Alright, so I just click here and open image in the new tab. So I select here and save the images and save. Alright, so here I'll upload my new picture for my organization profile. So what I'll do, I just download this one. What is the image I download from the Google now. So set as a new profile picture. So I just click here as set new profile picture here. Now you can see that our profile picture is updated successfully. And for profile section, I want to mention of name, that is the Satya ORG and or Mohan ORG and global. And here the email will be public. So the email ID for associated with that GitHub account. So Mohan says GitHub account, the email ID is this one. So satya2home@gmail.com, and description for that I will add here as for company project. Alright, and the URL. So as of now there is no URL is there. So I just mention here as the any random thing, www.mohanorgglobal.com, mohanorgglobal.com, and here location should be India. So here I just search for India location, and here I'll just billing address. So billing address is nothing but the email address, that is satya2home@gmail.com for that GitHub account. And for email, that is the Grabtar email private. So this one is not required, and sponsor update email private, this one is not required. So after then there is some GitHub developer program notes are there, you can write here, and some terms of services. for standard and cooperate, and there is another section called danger zone. If you want to rename your organization, you can do that, or you want to delete this organization. Once delete, it will gone forever, so it is shortened. So I don't need this, so I just, after putting all these things, I just click here update profile. Alright, so after then you can see that my profile is updated with the image and all the details whatever I put earlier, right? Everything here available now. So you can see the profile updated as shown here. And step 21 is configure base repository permission in member privileges. So what I'll do, that I'll select here as member privileges here. So in member privileges there is a base permission there. So base permissions to the organization repository apply to all members and excludes outside collaborators. And since organization member can have permissions from multiple sources, members and collaborators who have been granted a higher level of access than the base permission will retain their higher permission privileges. So it is selected as read permission type. So repository creation. So what I'll do here, the base permissions, it is showing that is I'll configure base repository permission in privileges sections. So I will select here as, instead of read, I will select here as write. So right here member will be able to clone, pull and push all the repositories. Alright, so my base permission is successfully updated from read to write here. And here all members of this GitHub organizations can clone, pull and push all repositories. And here you can see that our option will remain unchanged as so here. So what I'll do, I just click here save button and repository forking, and for that, and this one is not required. So as of now I just check all these options here. Alright, as of now I just select here as save options. I just select here save. Alright, so and after then in a repository forking I just select here as save. Alright, so this one the image one of that step 21, how to do the base member privileges permission type. And after the image 2 is repository forking, is allow forking for private of private repository. So if enabling that forking is allowed to on private and public repositories, if disabled, forking is only allowed on public repositories. So this setting is also configurable for repository. Alright, so here what I'll do, again go to the pages creation. So member will be able to publish sites and with only the selected access controls of this pages creation section here. And there is a member will be able to publish sites with only the selected access controls. So there is public and private. So for my requirements public is required, so I just click here save on pages creations. And the next step is admin repository permissions. So admin repository permissions, here repository visibility change, that is allow members to change repository visibility for this organizations. So if enabled, then members with admin permissions for that repository will be able to change its visibility. If disabled, then only organization's owner can change repository visibilities. So I just save these changes. Alright, so and the next one is repository visibility change. repository visibility change is done, then the repository deletion and transfer. So it allows members to delete or transfer repository for these organizations. If enabled, member with admin permission for that repository will be able to delete or transfer public and private repositories. If disabled, only organization owner can delete or transfer the repositories. So I want this save these changes. So now successfully members can now delete or transfer repositories. And next one is issue deletion. So issue deletion is allow members to delete issues for this organization. So I don't want to check these options. So if you now enabled members with admin permissions for the repository, will be able to delete the issues. So I just save these changes without any check mark of that options. That is issue deletion. And next one is member team permissions. So member team permissions, there is team creation rules is there, and there is one options called allow members to create teams. So if enabled, any member of the organization will be able to create new teams. If disabled, only organization owner can create new teams. So I want these changes, so that I check these options and save these changes. Alright, now what I'll do here, I'll go to the step 22 is configure billing and plans. So configure billing and plan, there is options here. There is a configure billing and plans. Okay, now you can see that there is a billing and plans options here is, and here this the billing overview of the plan. So here in this tab, the how to configure billing and plans here, and here you can see that currently monthly bill is $0 and next payment due is nothing is showing. And GitHub is free. So what we have created during creation of organizations, I have selected here as $0 free. So current plan is free, GitHub free. So the basics of for organizations and developers, so unlimited public or private repository, unlimited collaborators, 2000 actions minutes per month, 500 MB of package storage, and community support. So we can add any member to delegate the editing of the billing process. So in most cases, it is the billing department of your organization or company. Alright. So the bill, if you'll go to the billing management, so here you can see here that receipts are sent to billing managers and email recipients. So billing managers, and there is no billing managers and email recipients, then there is only email recipients is satya2home@gmail.com. This is the mail ID of this organization owner, that is Mohan CS GitHub. Alright, so it is the billing department of your organizations or company. So here we check for payment informations here. So you can see that is the payment information is showing update payment method, manage spending limits, and redeem your coupon if you have any. So yeah, so step 23 is configure organization security, and I'll show you, and there is the organization security option is here. So I just select this one. Alright, so it is showing that configure organization security. Here we can enable different levels of security here. So two-factor authentication requiring an additional authentication method adds another level of security for your organizations. So this select checkbox, it require two-factor authentication for everyone in the Mohan ORG global organizations. Alright, so if you use GitHub Enterprises plan, then integrate your existing SSO or single sign-on, so you can add complete domain here. Alright, so there is a verified and approved domains is here. So I just select this one, and you can see that the verified and approved domains. So that means if you use GitHub Enterprises plan, then integrate your existing single sign-on, and you can add the complete domain here if you want. if you want any. You just click here, add a domain options here, and you can read this information if you want, and learn more. You select here and you can get more details about the verified and approved domains. Alright, so step 24 is configure audit log. So I just select here audit log. So audit log is it is very important to track down each and every change or activity on your GitHub account by each other. For example, each activity in this GitHub organization can be tracked. So see here, every log things are showing here. That is the 4 minutes ago issues.deleted disabled, and 6 minutes ago member underscore can create pages just disable, and 7 minutes ago Mon's GitHub private repository forking dot disables, and 8 minutes ago it's allowed the creation of only public and private repositories by members of the Mohon org global organizations. So you can see all these log things you typed here. Created new label bug, created the label documentations, created the label duplicate, created the label enhancement. So every log file you can see here under audit log option of under the Git organization account in the audit log options. Alright, so there are two kinds of export, that is the export Git events and export. So export Git events, here in export Git events we can export Git events between two dates, selected events from and selected to. If you want any, you can search and filter the results or download the results within, and export file will be limited to 100 MB only. Alright, so we can export Git events between two dates as shown here, and we can export the audit logs in different format like JSON or CSV format if you want. And so in this way you can export. So next step is that is the step 25. So in step 25, configure webhooks. So I just select here webhooks here. So here basically external service is to be notified when certain events has happened. So you can see here that the webhooks allow external service to be notified when certain event happens. So when the specified event happens, we will send a post request to each of the URLs you provide. If you want to learn more on it, so you just go to the guide of these webhooks and you can get the details of that. If you want to add any webhook, you can select here that add webhook options here. So I just click here add webhook. So click on add webhook in these sections. So the push event is selected by default. You can see that the push event is selected by default, just the push event, that is which events would you like to trigger this webhook. So by default it is just the push event. Alright, and the payload URL, it is by default it is typed here, showing here, and the content type is the application /x -www -form -url encoded, and secret is not required here, and which event that is the I want, and here it is that if you want to be notified or take necessary actions on specific events, then click on let me and let me select individual events here. You can see that so many options is showing here. If you want any, you can add and configure and save these changes. So let's select individual events as shown here. So what I'll do, I just select everything, check results, collaborators, deploy keys, deployments, discussions, branch or tag deletions, check runs, code scanning alerts, comments, deployment statuses, discussion comments, forks and issue comments. And here that is the issues and labels, membership, meta, milestone, org blocks, organizations, packages, page build, and project cards, project columns, projects, pull request review threads, pull request reviews, and pull requests, and some repositories here, registry repository releases, repository imports, and repository vulnerability alerts, secret scanning alerts, stars, statuses, and team adds, teams, visibility changes, watches, wiki page, workflow jobs, and workflow runs. Alright, so after then mention the payroll URL as an example. So as of now we can assume that we set up the payload server in local. So I just mention here is a payload URL here. So http:// so localhost and colon here and 7645 and here payload. So as of now we just assume as we set up the payload server in local, and this is the below URL as mentioned here. And here is an issue we get that there was an error is, so I just add webhook here after selected all these options. Alright, so there was one error setting off your hook. Sorry, the URL localhost is not supported, it is not reachable over the public internet. So that I set up the below URL to take it as of now. So what I'll do here is I just remove this one. So below URL I just put any random URL here, https://www. satya.com and /payload. Alright, and after then I click on that click on the add webhook option button here. So we can see that after successfully adding, the interface will be shown like this. Okay, that hook was successfully created. We sent a ping payload to test it out and read more about it. Has some URL that is https://docs.github.com/webhook/ping-event. Alright, so this is the how we have add the or configure the add webhook. So we can see that payload URL which one I have added for a random purpose. So it is showing here after successfully creating the add webhook options. Alright, so step 26 is configure third-party application access. So I just click here third-party access option here. So here a third-party application access policy is so when a team member of your organization integrated third-party tool with your GitHub account, these applications acquire access on an organization level. So here we can remove restrictions as shown here, or third-party tool may request access on the organization level. So this one is showing that access is restricted. Only approved application can access data in this organizations. Application owned by Mohan ORG Global always have access. Alright, so I just remove restrictions if you want. So yes, remove application restrictions. So you can see that there is no restrictions and set up application access restrictions here. So step 27 is configure install GitHub apps. So you just click here install GitHub apps here. So When member of your organization install any app from GitHub Marketplace or do a request for any apps from the marketplace, their request will be listed here. Install GitHub apps, that is GitHub app, augment and extend your workflows on GitHub with commercial, open source and homegrown tools, and the pending GitHub apps installation requests. So members in your organization can request that GitHub apps be installed. Pending requests are listed here. Alright, so step 22 is configure repository topics. So repository topics, you can see here that options you will get repository topics. So the repository topics will help others to discover your repository. So as of now I have not created any repository as shown here. And step 29 is configure projects as shown here. So here if select here projects, so basically projects help you organize and prioritize your work. You can enable projects for the organizations and projects for all repositories here. So it's just select two options, enable projects for the organizations and enable projects for all repositories. And I just want to save these changes, so I just click here save, so that with all these options and features will be added to the projects of boards on the GitHub. So it will help you to organize and prioritize your work. Alright, and you can see that organization project permission can be managed in the project setting on a per project basis. So view all projects you can select here. So I just select here as enable project for organization and enable projects for all repositories, and you can get all the details, what is the purpose behind the enable project for the organization and what the purpose behind enable projects for all repositories here, right? So step 30 is configure teams as in here. So I just click here teams options. So basically it provides a feature like team meeting, where every team members discusses about all the projects across on the organization levels. So I just click here enable team discussion for these organizations, and this allows members to start discussion in any team in the Mohan ORG global organization. So I just save these changes. So team discussion is enabled for these organizations. So under developer settings, there are a few options are available using GitHub API. So I just click here developer settings, and there is a few options here. That is the, I'll show you here, that is the OAuth apps and GitHub apps and publisher verifications. So under developer settings there are few options here for using GitHub API in the applications. So under moderations state settings, so you'll get some options also. That is the under moderation settings there are few options are available to block users and for interaction limits. These two options are available here. And some block users, you can, if you want any block any username or full name email address, you put here and block the user. So as of now there is no blocked users, so if you have any it will show the blocked users here. Alright, so a detailed overview of the organizations I'll show you. Again I'll go to your organization's options of Mohan CS GitHub. So I just click here Mohan ORG global, that the organization created by Mohan CS GitHub. So it is the detailed overview of the organization. That here we can see the organization details after covering all configuration set up by owner of the GitHub organization, that is Mohan CS GitHub. For owner the setting option is showing here, right? And we can rename and delete the organizations under profile as here. So I just go to the settings. So as I described, in under profile section we can rename and delete these organizations, right? So but for a member I'll show the differences, what the difference between that the owner access related stuffs and the member access related stuff for that same organization. So you can see settings here in owner account, but for if you go to the members, select here Mohan ORG Global. So for member, you can see everything is there: overview, repository, packages, people, teams, projects, but setting option is not there. So member cannot configure any settings for that organization created by the owner, that is the Mohan CS GitHub. It is the Satya CS GitHub member, which one is added by Mohan CS GitHub for that Mohan ORG Global organizations. Alright, so this is the detailed overview of the organizations after configuring the organizations by Mohan says GitHub the owner, and what are the difference between the interface between member by the member of the organization, that is the setting option is not here for member on the organization page, and if you go to for owner, the setting option is showing here. For member, for owner setting option is showing here, but for member setting option not showing here. So setting option is showing here because Mohan says GitHub is the owner of the organization, that is Mohan ORG Global. Okay, let's flip to my presentation here. So know about GitHub organization. So organizations are shared by accounts where businesses and open source projects can collaborate across many projects. Owner and administrators can manage members' access to the organization's data and projects with sophisticated security and administrative features. You can use organizations for free with GitHub Free, which include unlimited collaborators or unlimited public repository with full features and unlimited private repositories with limited features. So if you work in an organization first time, then you need to sign in using your organization mail ID or using your client ID. Alright, so why we need an organization GitHub? Basically, we can manage multiple projects with many teams and organizations. For example, an organization have .NET projects, Java projects, open source projects, database projects. So you can create multiple projects in one organization and distribute them with multiple teams. So this is my YouTube channel. Subscribe and share it to get the up-to-date knowledge on technology, including .NET, .NET Core, Angular, C#, SQL Server, GitHub, DevOps, and Azure. So what we have learned today in this video, that know about GitHub organizations. Why do you require an organization? Create an organization in GitHub and configure organization in GitHub, and a detailed overview of the organizations. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.